Hi, this is Jane from Single Female Friends, and this is tip 5 on learning to love yourself. During these 5 tips, we've established that you're unique, that there's nobody else in the world like you, that you're phenomenal. And I hope you're beginning to realise that, to begin to feel it with a little bit more depth. So you may be grouchy sometimes, we've established that you might have bad nails or bad skin or carry too much weight or be too loud or too noisy or whatever it might be. But that doesn't change the fact that you are unique and amazing. Let me ask you a question. If you had a child, and you may have a child, but if you had a child and they displayed any of those characteristics, would you love them any less? And I can guarantee the answer to that is no. And the reason you wouldn't love them less is because you know deep in your heart that they are much more than that set of labels. They're phenomenal. They're these amazing human beings. But when you look at yourself, you set these really high expectations. And then if you fail to achieve them, you just give yourself a hard time. And as we've talked about before, when you keep talking to yourself and telling yourself that you're not doing well, that something's wrong, you start to believe it. One of the exercises that I do with clients is I ask them to bring a little photograph of themselves along of when they were about 4 or 5 years old. And then I ask them to look at that child and to write down what they would want for that child when they grow older, what that child deserves and how much love they should give that child. And it might seem like an odd thing to do, but actually it's a really emotional feeling for people. And quite often people get a little bit weepy when they're doing it. And the reason for that is when you look at yourself as that young child, you realise that actually none of the hard knocks that have happened to you in your life have actually happened at that stage. And all the things that you would want for that child actually feel much more powerful than when you think of it as something that you might want for yourself. So I would encourage you to take a photograph of yourself and try that exercise out. What would you want for your young self? How much would you love that young self? And how forgiving would you be if that child didn't get it right? It's actually a very small exercise with a really, really powerful outcome. All of the tips that I've given you are very powerful if you choose to use them. So I hope you're going to choose to use this one and recognise that who you are is absolutely the right person to be. Sure, you can change it up, you can improve yourself, and I'd encourage everybody to try that, because you never know who you can be until you push yourself a bit. But that doesn't mean that who you are now isn't enough. So try the exercise, give it a shot. Have a look at yourself as a child and decide how much love that child deserves, how forgiving you should be when they get it wrong, and what they should have when they get older. It's been great talking to you over these 5 tips, and I hope that you'll use them. And I'll see you again soon.